Thank you for tuning in today. Just so you know, we will be talking about titles that feature sexual assault, and we'll be talking about sexual assault awareness. So if you're triggered at all, please feel free to pause and come back next week. We're taught to fear monsters, to fear ourselves, but who says a monster couldn't be a hero? My bedroom was a sacred space. Incense in the air, light streaming through sheer curtains. Black women have always been a place of rest. Pillows to support his head, well-pressed sheets atop sturdy box spring. I was once a beautiful headboard, a hand-stitched quilt, my bedroom a sacred space. Until he came, standing over me, reducing me to crumpled pillows, twisted sheets, tear-filled mattress. Smile left a splintered headboard, torn to pieces. See, he thought he could strangle the life out of me, do it with his own hands. He thought he would leave a corpse, but he really left a vampire. See, vampires are typically created, but my kind are born through acts of domestic violence, dormant survival skills activated, skin impenetrable, vision clear of any illusions, keen to lovers, sharp silver tongues, senses heightened, fangs, a new hunger that makes me like Blade, except for woman, and my appetite specifically desires the men who have hunted, snuffed out, and preyed upon women, hoping to suck us dry. My ravenous hunger craves the taste of justice, and I will gladly accept all suggestions of who you would like to be my next meal. I'm Sahara with the St. Louis Public Library, and this is #YALitChat. In this chat, we typically talk about fiction and nonfiction young adult novels, as well as juvenile fiction titles for tweens. We also talk about graphic novels and mangas, and today we are talking about some titles that specifically speak to sexual assault and sexual assault awareness. So let's get into it. So for today's novel, we have a young adult fiction title, and it is called Muted. It is written by Tami Charles, and it was published by Scholastic Press. This book is also available in audiobook format on Hoopla, and this book is completely written in verse. I think it's an amazing novel because it talks about this girl named Denver who is 17 years old, and music is her everything, right? She loves writing, she loves performing, and she wants to escape her very small, very white town, and she wants to become this big music star. Well, then all of a sudden she becomes friends with Dolly and Shake, and they make their way to the biggest R&B star in the world, Sean Mercury Ellis, right? And they call him Merc, and he gives them everything. He gives them all the attention, all the stuff, hours in the recording studio, and then everything is really great until it's not. And Denver realizes she's trapped in this man's world, and it gets very dark, very bad, very quickly. And she has to learn how to escape and kind of get out of this situation. So I definitely think it's worth a read, and I'm going to share with you a few poems from this book. And I broke and broke and broke into 1,000 tiny, shattered pieces. I felt whatever was left inside me snap, crying, screaming, longing to break something, break him. But it would have never, ever, never been enough. Everything became clear. That pain I'd felt the next day, the blood after, feeling split to bits inside out. My skin no longer felt like my own. I wanted to rip myself out of myself, leaving behind the touched, torched, humiliated shards of me. Eyes burning with tears, rage, terror like I'd never known. I had to get out of there. Me and Chance, and he wasn't there. Someone else was. Quiet, frozen, servant shadow. I never, ever learned her name. mouth gaped, eyes wide, at the image still playing on the screen. A montage of guy on girl, planet Mercury, all 800 degrees of fiery surface, incinerating what lay beneath to ash. I'm so sorry, she shuddered. Please don't tell Merc. And then she ran away so fast, I didn't get a chance to beg the same of her. Whew! This is a powerful, powerful novel, and I think the poetry is really well written, and I definitely think it's worth a read. You guys know what time it is. It's time for Shelve It or Read It. Now, what's different about today is all of these books feature the topic of sexual assault and sexual assault awareness. So that means that I have either read or will read all of these books. So let's get into it. Up first, we have Shout, which is by Lori House Anderson. And this book is a poetic memoir. It is a call to action in form of verse. And it is a very powerful book. I think it's definitely worth a read. And a follow-up to that one is Speak, which is by the same author. And Speak, I haven't fully gotten through yet, but is also that poetic memoir and call to action and about speaking out, right? And then we have Blood, Water, Paint, which is by Joy McCullough. And this one is a historical book written in verse. It is a fiction, and it's in 17th century. So it's about Artemisia, whose mother dies when she's 12, and she has a very harsh choice. She can live her life as a nun in a convent, or she can spend her life grinding paint in her father's studio. So she chooses to grind paint, and she becomes one of Rome's most talented painters, even though no one knows her name. And there's some harsh costs that comes with that, and she covers that in this book. So I think these are all worth a read, and you should definitely check them out. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed today's selections, and I also hope you head over to slpl.org to register for our camps that we have coming up. So another teen camp that we have for you is Code with Scratch, which is from July 12th through 16th. It's for ages 12 to 18. It's learning the basics of programming using Scratch to program a sprite to dance, make sounds, and do so much more. You should definitely check it out. We also have Financial Jeopardy, which is happening April 22nd from 4 to 5:15 p.m. And you should go and see if you will win. All right? I want to thank today's author for this amazing book, Tami Charles, and also Scholastic Press for publishing it. I look forward to seeing you next Friday at noon so you can learn about your latest new favorite. Peace.